Every night, something pretends to be my daughter. I want to make this very clear. I live alone and I have no children. I know that sounds like a strange thing to say, but I need you to understand this before I explain anything else. Everything started a few weeks ago when my job began taking over my life. I haven't been home long enough to do much more than eat and sleep, much to the dismay of my dog Marcus, who misses our nightly games of fetch. It was already dark when I pulled into the driveway of my humble two-story. I sighed deeply as I opened the front door and shut it behind me. "Marcus, where are you, boy?" I heard him bark somewhere deeper in the house. Opening the coat closet, I hung up my jacket, ready for a few moments of relaxation before bed. "Dad?" I froze. "Dad, is that you?" I spun around to see a young woman looking at me with a smile on her face. She was maybe 18 and stood beside my couch as if she'd been waiting for me. She smiled like I was exactly who she'd expected to see. "Did you have a good day, Dad?" I backed up against the door. "What are you doing in my house?" I whispered. The girl tilted her head to the side. "What? Who are you?" She chuckled awkwardly. "Come on, Dad. It's me, your daughter." I stared at her. She frowned. "Hey, what's wrong? Is everything okay?" She began to walk to me. I quickly turned and left the house, slamming the door behind me. I pulled out my phone and called 911. 911, what is your emergency? Yes, someone broke into my house. They were waiting for me when I got home. The dispatcher took my name and home address before promising officers were on the way. I stood by my car until a squad car pulled up. 2 officers got out. "How are you doing, sir? Is everything all right?" The first officer called out. "No, everything's not all right. I came home and found a stranger inside my home." "Okay, stay calm, sir," the other officer said. "Have you ever seen this person before?" "No, I have no clue who she is, but she kept calling me Dad. I don't have any kids." They nodded. "We'll handle this, then you can get back to your evening." They walked to the front door and I followed. Knocking firmly, the first officer loudly said, "Ma'am, open the door. It's the police." There was movement inside, and before long a shadow was seen in the front door window. The door opened slowly, revealing the same girl from before, who was clearly nervous. "Officers, what's wrong? Is everything okay?" Her eyes found me standing behind the pair. "Dad? What's going on? Why are they here?" One of the officers took a deep breath before speaking. "Ma'am, this gentleman says you broke into his home. We're going to have to ask you to leave the premises." Her voice grew panicked. "What the hell? I live here. Dad, tell them!" The cops looked back at me. "I've never seen you before in my life," I shouted. Her face looked like my words wounded her. "Dad, An officer interrupted her. "Ma'am, do you have anything proving you're his daughter?" "Yes, just look at my home screen." She handed her phone to him. He looked at it and passed it to me. It was a picture of the 2 of us, smiling. My arm wrapped around her as we both posed in front of the Statue of Liberty. I took that trip to New York City last year, alone. What is this? I felt like I was in a dream. I could feel the officer's eyes shift to me. The girl chimed in. "I can do even better. We have the same last name." She disappeared inside before returning half a minute later with her driver's license. The officer stared at it. "Is this your last name, sir?" It was. "What the hell is this?" I muttered. The officers both turned to me, a sympathetic smile on their faces. "Have you been feeling all right lately, sir?" one asked. "If you need to talk to someone, it's okay. There's no shame in it," said the other. I was in a daze. The words sounded distant and jumbled like I was underwater. The girl spoke up. "He's okay, officers. Just some really long days at work lately. He needs his rest. I'll take care of him." She stepped out of the house and took my hand. Hers was cold. She led me inside. My house didn't feel like mine. As she led me deeper within, I began to notice things. The women's shoes by the door, the pictures in the hallway highlighting happy moments we shared, Marcus coming up to greet her as if he always did. Once in the living room, she let go of my hand, turned, and hugged me. She was strangely cold and stiff. It felt like hugging a mannequin. She looked at me. "I'm sorry you're so tired. Why don't you go upstairs and head to bed? I can take Marcus out tonight." Her voice was far too chipper. I clenched my teeth and slowly nodded, making my way to the stairs. The staircase documented her whole life, from me holding her at her birth to a high school graduation just a few weeks ago. Had I really been working so far that I forgot my own daughter? How could that be? And why couldn't I remember her name? It was true. I was tired, completely exhausted. I practically collapsed on the bed and was out. My alarm went off at 5:30 the next morning. A yawn and a stretch brought back the memories of the night before. A twinge of fear ran down my spine. I still didn't remember my daughter. Cautiously, I opened the door. The house was quiet. I made my way to the staircase. The pictures were gone. The wall was bare. The stairs brought me to the living room. It was just the way I always remembered. Marcus raised his head to greet me as he lay on his bed. No women's shoes, no happy pictures of a father and his daughter. It was my house. I ran my fingers through my hair and breathed a sigh of relief. "Weird dream," I muttered as I started some coffee. That day, I presented my project to management. They loved it. I was relieved it meant the weeks of long hours were over for the time being. On the way home, I stopped by the store to pick up some junk food to celebrate. I pulled into the driveway, carrying my grocery bag in one hand. I unlocked the door and entered. Shutting the door behind me, I was greeted by a happy bark from Marcus, but right after his greeting came the high-pitched greeting of a young girl. "Daddy, you're home!" My body stiffened. I didn't want to turn around, but I did. She was a young, blonde-haired little girl, no older than 6. She giggled and laughed as she skipped her way to me, wrapping my legs in a strong hug. Her hug felt wrong. "I missed you so much!" "Did you have a good day?" "My day was great." I was dumbfounded. Her eyes noticed the bag in my hand. "What's that?" She dug into it. To my shock, all that was in the bag was a bright pink soccer ball. She gasped in delight as she grabbed it. "Oh, thank you, Daddy! Thank you, thank you, thank you! Now Marcus and I can play soccer!" She ran off to the backyard with a bark. Marcus followed. The house looked like a child lived there. Toys dotted the floor. Crude drawings covered the fridge. I blankly stared out the sliding glass door, watching my dog happily play with my daughter. The little girl laughed and jumped around. For a moment, her eyes noticed my stare. Her face went blank, and her eyes narrowed as she stared back at me. This lasted only a few seconds until the spell was broken by Marcus jumping on her and licking her face. She laughed and returned to playing. That night, I found myself making boxed mac and cheese and dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets. I felt like I was in a trance. Everything about my home, everything in my fridge, tried to convince me that I had a 6-year-old daughter, but I didn't. I knew that. Why was I going along with it? Why didn't I run away? Why didn't I leave the house and never come back? I don't know. I wanted to, but there I was, scooping mac and cheese into the bowl in front of the stranger with a toothy grin. "Thank you, Daddy." The girl said I wanted to scream. I wanted to kick this daughter of mine out and lock the door, but instead I said, "You're welcome." Soon came bedtime. The girl insisted that I read her a bedtime story and read The Very Hungry Caterpillar with Clammy Hands. She was asleep before I finished the book. I stood at the door of my home office, which was now a child's bedroom, and flipped the light off. It was after midnight when I awoke to the sound of my bedroom door creaking open. I looked to the half-open door and the silhouette of a little girl that stood there. The shadowed figure stood there frozen for a moment before saying, "Daddy, I'm scared. Can I sleep with you?" My mind screamed no, but my mouth said, "Sure, darling." The shape crawled into my bed and fell asleep. I remained awake. At some point, I must have fallen asleep because when the alarm went off, I woke up. The girl was gone, and the house showed no sign of her ever being there. No toys, no drawings, and no mac and cheese. This continued for weeks. Every morning, my life was the same it had always been. A working man and his dog. and at night, someone was pretending to be my daughter. It was always different. Sometimes it was a teenager, sometimes a child. A few times it was a middle-aged woman. A few days ago, it was an elderly woman who croaked out, "Dad, is that you?" when I returned for the day. I still don't know why I stay. Every morning it was so easy to convince myself that the night before was just a bizarre dream and wouldn't happen again. But the moment I stepped inside, I was drawn back into the lie. Sometimes I could see through it. I'd be horrified to find myself finishing a Disney movie with a strange little girl snuggling against me, or come to my senses in the middle of giving my elderly daughter a sponge bath. These moments of cognition always terrify me, but what scares me the most are the moments I don't remember, the nights when I had no mental resistance but just hugged and laughed with my daughter. 2 days ago, I tried to leave. After work, I drove to a hotel. I sat in my car, staring at the lobby door. I wanted to go in. I really did. But a thought in the back of my mind overcame my desires. It told me my daughter missed me, that she needed me, and I had to go home. I tried to resist, but soon realized I was already back in my driveway. Like a stringed puppet, I made my way to the door. My daughter stood in the entryway as I entered. She looked to be about 5. Her eyes pierced me. "You're late, Daddy." Yes, I know. Something in me urged me to tell her where I had been. It took everything I had to lie. Traffic was bad. Her head tilted slightly. She continued to stare at me, and my eyes fell to the floor. After a long while, she said, "Okay." She forced a smile. "I'm hungry." I don't remember anything else from that night. Morning came, and the house was again the memory of a life nearly forgotten. I fed Marcus, pulling him in close for a hug. I whispered to him, "At least we're in it together." I then headed to work. The workday flew by, and before long I was driving back to my cell. I opened the front door and called out, "I'm home." The house was quiet. Normally I got a happy bark from Marcus and a hello from my daughter. The house seemed empty. A strange smell filled the air. I made my way to the living room and my stomach dropped. There on the living room floor was the lifeless body of Marcus. Deep red blood soaked into the surrounding carpet. His chest cavity was ripped wide open, and piles of intestines dotted the floor. I stared in disbelief before fear filled my gut. I had to get out of there. I turned back to the door, but froze. My 10-year-old daughter was standing between me and the door. She held her hands behind her back. Her clothes were stained with blood and guts, and her face was dripping blood. A wide smile filled her face. Her teeth were stained red. "I got hungry, Daddy," a happy little voice said. I held up my hands and backed up. My mind screamed, "What the hell did you do?" My lips said, "Baby girl, are you okay? Did Marcus hurt you?" She giggled and stepped closer. I didn't see the knife, or maybe I did and didn't care. She pulled it from behind her back, and the moment it made contact with my skin, it was as if the trance was broken. Pain and clarity simultaneously filled my mind. I screamed as I looked at the long cut, gushing blood from my forearm. The thing in front of me no longer looked like a little girl. I saw it for what it was. It was thin and grotesque, its arms far too long. It had no mouth, but as its empty eye sockets stared at me, the high-pitched scream of a little girl filled my mind. I ran. The living room's sliding glass door was behind me, and before the thing could grab me, I had it open and ran off into the evening. I'm writing this at work. I don't know why I came here. I remember driving here last night and waiting in the parking lot until the sun rose and my coworkers showed up. My boss asked about the cut on my arm. Something inside me forced a lie. My dog scratched me. As I write this, I feel myself slipping. It's almost quitting time. Please help me. My daughter needs me. She's been so sad since Marcus passed away, but today I'm going to surprise her and take her to the pet shop to pick out a new puppy. We'll have so much fun. I was 9 when I started seeing them. My mother was driving me home from school, and I slumped against the window in the back seat. The day had been normal. So normal, in fact, that I can't recall anything specific preceding that moment. Mom was flipping through channels on the radio, indecisive as always, and everything was still. There was no sway in the trees, and there weren't many people to speak of out on the streets. I closed my eyes, lulled by the steady ebb and flow to Mom's radio expedition. Then came the break. A roar came from above, reverberating through the air and shaking the earth to the bedrock. I had never heard anything like it. There is no sound in space, but I imagine that is what the birth of the universe sounded like. Awesome and terrifying all at once. I jolted in my seat and turned my eyes toward the sky. The day was clear, no clouds to speak of, and there, just below the sun, a jagged crack had formed in the blue. Gold seeped out at the edges and spilled down upon the city. It was beautiful, the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen before or since. At the time, I didn't know it was the last bit of beauty I would see in this world. The moment was fleeting. There came another colossal, world-shattering bellow from that snaking sliver of gold. The sky seemed to shake with the thundering, and the crack began to tear open. The thin line pulled apart and became a gaping wound bleeding gold. I was transfixed by what I saw, unable to speak, unable to move. Mom did not raise me religiously, but somehow I knew I was staring into heaven. It seemed an eternity that I sat there looking up into the hereafter. Everything seemed right, like I had found a peace thought only possible in the abstract. Then came the screams. They were distant at first, as if existing only on the periphery of reality. I pressed my ear hard to the glass, trying to decipher what I heard, and all at once it hit me. I may have thought I was looking at heaven, but what I heard pouring forth from it was hell incarnate. The screams of millions undulating through the air, intersecting and melding in a chorus that made you wish your eardrums would rupture just to save you from hearing any more. I clamped my hands over my ears, but that did nothing to muffle the cacophony. It was no longer coming from the sky above, rather, it was inside my head, twisting and contorting in my skull. I rammed my head into the window, over and over, trying to expel the screams. If it didn't stop, I knew it was going to kill me. I was either going to break this glass or crack open my skull, and God was I hoping for the latter. Anything to make it stop. Beyond the screams, the distant cries of my mother prodded at the edges of my perception. I could not find silence. Instead, I found myself being shaken by my mother. At some point, she had stopped the car and pulled open my door. It hadn't registered to me at the moment, so I continued to slam my head against her chest. The screaming wouldn't stop, but soon that didn't matter. The cries reached a crescendo, and just as I felt like my brain was going to pop, something splattered onto the top of my head. All at once, there was silence. Whatever had landed on my head dripped down my forehead and into my lap. I looked down, still not aware of my mother holding me by the shoulders. There were dark stains on my pants, wet to the touch. Several more drops hit my head. Despite the pain, I mustered the strength to look up. Heaven wasn't there anymore. In its place sat a black hole of nothingness. The wind had come in a flurry, and the air went cold like death. From that nothingness came a dark torrent of liquid. It crashed down into the earth violently, soaking the entire landscape. The obscenely strong scent of metal filled my nostrils. The liquid was thick and ran down my body. I brought my hands up, allowing it to pool in my palms. Blood. It was raining blood on the city. I watched it gather in my hands and run through my fingers, pooling below at my feet. It occurs to me at that moment that my mother is kneeling in front of me, begging me to tell her what is wrong. I look up and meet her eyes. Her face is slick with blood, her hair matted from the downpour. She's looking at me with such concern, but something is off. She isn't reacting to the rain at all. I look around and see that the sidewalks are sparsely populated. They too do not react to what is happening. They go about their days, blood-soaked yet seemingly unaffected. Everything is covered in gore, but I'm the only one taking notice. I don't understand it, but there is nothing I can do. It's the most helpless I've ever felt. Having no other recourse, I look back up. The sky stops bleeding and everything is still again. It's over. It has to be, is what I think. God, please let it be over. The edges of the wound in the sky begin to tremble. It is slight at first, but soon turns raucous. I can feel a shift in the air. Whatever is coming next is going to be worse than the bleeding. So much worse. From deep within the blackness comes a rumbling. I want to look away, close my eyes, and just make it all go away. But I can't. I can't look away. I need to know what is coming. The rumbling grows louder at a steady pace. I brace myself for another downpour. Then it happens. Out fly the angels. An endless stream of them spill out from the black, carried by wings white as bone. They descend upon the world and sail off in every direction. They are beautiful. No, rather, they should be beautiful. But they aren't. The more I look at them, the worse I feel. One of them passes just above me. The moment was brief, but I saw enough. Its skin was a sickly gray, and its limbs stretched further than any human's would. But what stuck with me was its face. There was nothing there, just skin stretched across a skull. Even though it had no face, I knew it had looked right at me. The sensation of meeting its gaze made me vomit. I'm stronger now, but that feeling still hits me deep in the stomach whenever they look at me. Sometimes that's the only way I know I've found one. The sky continues to fill with white wings, and my world starts spinning. My mother is still talking, but I can't process any of it. Everything goes dark, and the last thing I hear is the beating of the wings above. I woke up in a hospital bed, my mother sleeping in a chair by my side. No blood, no screams, no angels, just a sterile hospital room and the droning of nurses passing by the door. I must have made sufficient noise as I woke up, because my mother quickly rose from the chair and darted to the side of the bed. She acted as if I had just come out of a years-long coma. She held me close, and I felt tears drop onto me. Once she was sure I was okay, Mom had her questions. Still in a daze, her words reached my ears, but I wasn't at all able to respond to them. I don't know how long I sat there looking at my mother but not speaking, but at some point I finally was able to open my mouth. In more of a yell than I intended, I asked, "What about heaven?" Mom fell silent and hit me with a look that was both puzzled and concerned. "What?" she asked. I asked again about what happened to heaven, and this time she put a hand on my leg and leaned closer. "I don't understand what you're asking, honey. What about heaven?" I explained about the crack in the sky, the screaming, the blood, and the angels, all of it. She listened patiently, but her expression grew more worried as I spoke. "You hit your head pretty hard, so I can understand having a disturbing dream like that," she said after I had finished. My mother insisted I had hit my head on the window when she swerved to avoid a jaywalker in the road. "I passed out," she said, "and had been out until just a minute ago." No, this wasn't right. She had been there. Mom was there, and she saw everything. Pretending it didn't happen wasn't going to make everything okay, and I told her as much. Before she could respond, someone stepped into the room. It was a doctor coming in to check on my status. Mom rose to her feet and pulled the doctor aside. They had a muffled back and forth before the doctor stepped over to me. She began to check me over while asking a series of questions. They were standard fare, and I answered them absent-mindedly. My entire focus was on what had happened before I got here. Did I really dream it all? That couldn't be possible. It was all so real. I was completely lost in thought when it hit me. A deep sense of dread washed over me, and I felt sick to my stomach. My head throbbed, and there was a sharp ringing in my ears. I doubled over, and both the doctor and Mom reacted quickly. My name was being called, so I did my best to look up at them. That's when I saw it. It had to stoop to fit in the doorway. Its wings were folded behind it, but they were still visible. So bright it hurt to look at them. Instead, I brought my eyes up towards its head. Gray skin pulled taut around a skull, and no features to speak of. Even without eyes, I could feel its gaze boring down to my very soul. It burned. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't even muster a whisper. I sat there, bile rising in my throat, watching it watch me. It raised its grotesquely thin arm and extended a gnarled finger in my direction. I think Mom must have seen the terror in my eyes, because in that moment, she turned her attention toward the door. The angel was gone. It had slithered away down the hall in the second it took my mother to turn her head. Released from its watch, everything came out. I vomited onto the bed, and probably the doctor too. I fell back against the pillow, and darkness came once again. Thinking back on it, I don't remember much after that. At some point, I woke up again, and eventually I was allowed to go home. Mom didn't talk to me about heaven again. I think it made her feel better to believe I had just had a bad dream. So I didn't talk to her about it either. It was hard being 9 and alone in this new world. I scoured the internet for any mention of what happened that day. Nothing. Not so much as a word about what I saw. So I went about life carrying the truth on my own. That was 20 years ago now, and in that time I have learned to adapt, learned to survive in the new horrors born out of heaven. The work is hard. Some days I think about ending it all, but then I remind myself that's what they want, for me to give up and give them this world. So I carry on, collecting wings as I go. I've clipped 481 pairs so far. I got my first when I was 16. No one else can see them, so it's left up to me to stop them. No one knows what they are, so they mourn them as you would people. Not me. I know exactly what they are, and I can see beyond the facade. Tonight's the night for another hunt. I've been tracking this one for 2 weeks. I saw him at the post office. Goes by Anthony Teller. To the rest of the world, he is an unassuming husband and father of 2. But I know the truth. It flew into this world 2 decades ago and started walking among us. It goes bowling Thursday nights. That's when I'll take it. It takes a dirt back road to avoid traffic on its way home. The trap is set. I'll wait here, beneath the trees, always patient. You have to be when doing this work. The angels are clever and obstinate. So my planning must be meticulous. My execution must be exact. I must be ruthless because I know they will show no mercy if I slip up. I can hear the thing calling itself Anthony. By night's end, I will have a new set of wings and the world will be that much safer. I saw heaven open up above me, and I will spend the rest of my life sending its angels to hell below. Every night this week, I've gotten this notification. There must be something wrong with the camera because whenever I check the feed, there's nothing there. At first, I thought maybe it was bugs setting it off, but that doesn't seem to be it. I'll check the recording back, and there is always absolutely nothing on the camera. No people, no animals, or bugs, not even an errant leaf caught in the wind. I tried looking online for help, but that has so far been a fruitless endeavor. Suggestions ranged from low battery to dirty lens, but I tried everything, and it still keeps reacting to nothing. I decided to get an entirely new camera. The thought occurred to me to just forego the camera and just be done with it. But ever since someone tried to break into my house, I've been too paranoid to go without one. So, new camera it is. It will be next day delivery, so whether I liked it or not, I'll be going cameraless. That's fine. I live in a nice enough area, and there have been no problems with burglaries since the attempt last year. I'll just have to be extra vigilant. It's only one night. I feel pretty vulnerable right now. Irrational, I know, but I can't help it. I've always been an anxious person, and I've never felt completely comfortable living alone. It might have just been a camera, but it gave me a sense of security in an uncertain world. Whatever. I just need to get to sleep and stop thinking about it. It's 1:23 a.m. and there is knocking at my door. It's soft, but in the still of the night, each knock comes down like thunder on my door. The sweat is like ice rolling down my skin, and I've started shaking. Damn it, there's never anyone out at this time around here, and there is definitely never anyone coming to my door at this time or any other. I pull off my blanket and step off the bed. The knocking comes again, 3 quick strikes to my door. I'm unsteady on my feet. The shaking has only gotten worse. I look over my room frantically, searching for something that passes as a weapon. Why would someone be here? Why are they knocking on my door? Why does it have to be me? I can't quiet my brain, and I can't find anything to defend myself. Knock, knock, knock. Damn it, it's getting louder. I need to do something. My panic is reaching a fever pitch when I finally remember. My closet. I sprint towards it and nearly rip the sliding door off its track. There in the corner is my baseball bat. Not a perfect weapon, sure, but it's all I have. My hands are slick with sweat and shaking, so I have a hard time gripping the bat. Get it together. Deep breaths. I tighten my grip and march out of my room. Standing at the top of the stairs, I stop and listen. Nothing. Not even the wind breaks the silence. I hold at the top of the stairs for several moments. Maybe they went away. Maybe they... Knock, knock, knock. No, they are still there. The knocks land heavy and rapid this time. Okay, this is actually happening. Someone is at my door and they seem to very desperately want me to answer it. I pull the bat close to me and drag myself down the stairs. I'm face to face with my door now. Too afraid to look out, I put my ear to the door. Breathing. I can hear them breathing through the door. God, what do I do? I recoil from the door, my whole body shaking violently now. The sweat has soaked my shirt, and now it clings tightly to my back. I have to do this. I take a breath and slam my eye into the peephole. Black. There's nothing there. Why? Why can't I see anything? I pull back and try to clean the lens. Still, nothing. I'm losing my mind. What is going on? I'm about to scream, but then it hits me. It's them. They put something in front of the peephole. Damn it, damn it, damn it. This isn't really happening. It can't be. I can feel the tears welling in my eyes. They sting, and I can feel my legs losing their strength. Then it comes again. Furious knocks hammering my door. I lose it. Damn it, what the hell do you want? Just go away! I scream and slam my fist into the door. I nearly fall to my knees, but I'm able to steady myself. Maybe that worked. I'm not an intimidating person, but maybe my yelling was enough to send them away. I lift my head towards the peephole. The moon is a sliver of silver in the sky, and the street beyond my house is empty. There's no one there. The relief washes over my body, and I let myself drop. Thank God it's over. I steady my breath and let my mind settle into a semblance of calm. I sit with my back resting against my door for a little while longer. Using the bat as leverage, I bring myself to my feet. I lay a hand on the door before making my way to the stairs. My body is still shaky and my mouth is desert dry, but at least I made it through. My legs feel heavy, so even the first step seems like a challenge. I've conquered 2 whole steps when my uneasy peace is shattered. Crazed pounding assaults my door and sends me stumbling backwards. I slam painfully into the wall as the fist slamming into my door only accelerates its pace. The fear coursing through my body has chased the cowardice away. My unsteady hands fumble with the locks, but I am determined this time. I raise the bat over my head with one hand while the other turns the knob and swings the door open. An animalistic scream I didn't think I was capable of rose up through my throat as I prepared to confront whoever was beyond the door. No one. Only silence and an empty porch are there to meet me. I step out and scan the area. Nothing, and no one is there. A neighbor's lights come on, so I scramble to get back inside. I slam the door and fully collapse once I'm inside. What the hell is going on? Am I losing my mind? No. There was someone there. There had to be. Damn it, why did I have to be without a camera on the one night I desperately needed one? I'm confused, I'm terrified, and I am exhausted. But I know sleep is not going to come tonight, or maybe any night ever again. I'll spend the rest of the night in front of my door, bat clutched tightly to my chest. Slants of light break through my kitchen blinds, and I know morning is here. The day brings comfort, albeit small, and allows me a reprieve from my vigil. The front door looms large in front of me. The fear of what happens if I open it again has burrowed into my heart and has made my mind hazy. Barely able to think, I lumber towards the door. I don't know what I'll find in the light of day, but I have to know. Throwing open the door, I prepare for the worst, but just like last night, I find the area devoid of life. I slink back inside and breathe an uneasy sigh of relief. I don't know what I expected, but I'm glad I found nothing. Coming back to my senses, I look at my watch. I have enough time for a modicum of sleep, I decide, and collapse onto my couch. I'm sleep deprived and still half a step away from a panic attack, but I manage to get myself up and ready for work. I get halfway down the walkway when I'm stopped by my neighbor. I'm not one to complain, but last night was really a lot, she says. Well, I should have expected this. With my screaming, and the knocking was probably loud enough for them to hear. Oh, yeah, look, I'm really sorry about all that. It wasn't fun for me either, but I really don't know how I could have avoided it, I say. They look at me puzzled for a moment, then with annoyance. Okay, well, I would suggest getting a spare key, she says. What? I have no idea what she is talking about. A spare key so you don't get locked out of your house again. Oh, no, that wasn't me. I don't know who was at my door last night. She really seems upset now. You don't have to lie. We've all had rough nights. Just please keep it down next time. She says this and turns to leave. I'm beyond confused now, and a wave of unease crashes over me. No, really, that wasn't me. She doesn't stop, but gives a curt reply. I saw your face